Hello everyone. Welcome to the course New Media Technology and its Applications. Today, let's learn together about Section 4, Lecture 13, Gaussian Blur. Key Concept. Gaussian Blur. Photoshop incorporates various filter groups, including the blur filter group. The blur filter group can make the content of an image softer and more blurred, and it can also fade the colors at the edges. These filters are often used to create effects such as depth of field and blurred projection. Among them, the Gaussian blur filter is the most commonly used blur filter in Photoshop, widely employed to reduce image noise and decrease detail levels. Specifically, it can be used to create effects such as depth of field and blurred projection. Other filters, such as surface blur and spatial blur, are commonly used for graphic image noise reduction. Lens blur is used to simulate the effects of a large aperture in photography. Average is used to obtain the average color value of the entire image. Motion blur and radial blur blur in specific directions. Box blur and shape blur are used to blur objects based on specific shapes. Case demonstration. Adjusting a couple's photo using Gaussian blur. Step 1. Execute the File, Open command. Open the file named 1 in the folder 13, adjusting a couple's photo using Gaussian blur. Click the Open button. Step 2. First, add a sense of fuzziness to the image. In the Layers panel, select the layer, right-click, and choose the Duplicate Layer command. Then apply the Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur command to the duplicated layer. In the Gaussian Blur window that appears, set the radius to 50 pixels, and click the OK button to complete the setup. Step 3. In the Layers panel, select the blurred layer. Click the Add Layer Mask button at the bottom of the Layers panel. Choose the Layer Mask, then click the Brush tool in the toolbox. Set an appropriate size, hardness to 0%, and brush opacity to 50%. Use the brush tool to paint over the areas of the characters and background in the layer mask. Revealing the clear characters and part of the background. Step 4. Next, we'll create a warm color tone for the image. Execute the layer, New Adjustment Layer, Curves command. In the popped-up Properties panel, click on the upper part of the RGB curve to add control points, and drag upward to increase the brightness of the image. And another control point in the lower half of the curve, and, while holding down the left mouse button, drag upward. By altering the shape of the curve, enhance the brightness of the image. Click the RGB button, choose Red from the drop-down list, and adjust the curve shape for the red channel to make the shadow areas of the image reddish. Continue by selecting the channel as blue. Clicking to add 2 control points on the curve. And dragging downward to reduce the blue color in the image. Step 5. Now let's create a lens flare. In the Photoshop Layers panel, create a new layer. Set the foreground color to black. And fill it with the shortcut Alt+Delete to fill it with black. Then execute the Filter, Render, Lens Flare command. In the popped-up Lens Flare panel, drag the crosshair to change the direction of the flare. Set the brightness to 100%. Choose 50 to 300 mm zoom, and click the OK button to complete the setup. Step 6. Set the blending mode of this layer in the Layers panel to Screen. Step 7. To enhance the flare effect, you can select the flare layer in the Layers panel. Right-click and choose the Duplicate Layer command to overlay and enhance the effect. If the effect is not strong enough, you can repeat this process to add another layer. Step 8. Use the horizontal tab tool to add artistic text and finally create a photo border. Click on the horizontal tab tool in the toolbar. Then, click on the rounded rectangle tool. Set the drawing mode to Path in the Options bar. And set the radius to 20 pixels. Click and drag to draw a rounded rectangle path. Then use the shortcut Ctrl+Enter to convert the path into a selection. Press Enter to complete the creation. Deselect, and the final effect is shown on the screen. 3. Homework. The most commonly used filter in Photoshop's blur filter is WOT, which is widely used for various effects, typically for reducing image noise and decreasing details levels. A. Box blur filter. B. Gaussian blur filter. C. Radial blur filter. D. Lens blur filter. The answer is B. Blurring objects with special shapes is done using WOT. A. Box blur and shape blur. B. Gaussian blur filter and shape blur. C. Lens blur filter. D. Surface blur filter. Alright, in this class, we covered two parts of the content. 1. Key concept: Gaussian blur. 2. Case demonstration: adjusting couple's photo using Gaussian blur. Please review and practice diligently after class. This is the end of this class. Thank you.